Hello, this is a quick breakdown of and repair work that I did on Tim Hartnell's 4x map demo, and my corrections and quick fixes. So it's going to go through a whole load of data setups at the far end, at the bottom end of the program, to load in all those display file, attribute file scrollers. There's a whole load of messages here that the map generated takes ages, so you have to speed up your emulator if you want to. Otherwise you're looking at going down the pub for a couple of pints whilst it's doing it at standard speed. Okay, so here we're going in at line 40. I'll go at the top. It's making 3 dimensions. C string is the map we're going to be playing in, and dimension A and B strings, I believe, are used as a counter and part of the map making business, which is quite a complex algorithm. I don't understand it properly, but it makes a lovely maze despite the length of time it takes. So lines 48, 50 are the XY coordinates inside the dimension. You notice it's 2 less than the original dimension. This is to give it a 1 space window edging around the map. Z is a 1, it's a counter. It's going to fill the dimension up with 63 blocks with a spacer either end, fill the whole thing. Okay, and then it's going to set about putting spacers and walls in. Okay, this Z minus 1 is a counter system because I know for a fact that line 2000 is the first line that prints the map at the top left hand corner. It sets the game away. So when it hits 0, it's done. Go play the game. I still haven't worked out what it's doing here, and I'm not going to attempt either. It's randomly making a map for us, and a beautiful one at that. I'm not even going to go into how it's putting into the dimension. It would take ages for me to explain. I haven't got my head around it, so we'll pass on that. Basically, you don't have to have that. You can program the dimension with whatever map data you want. Here it's just filling it with a maze. So you could completely ignore that. It would create the dimension. You could play in it and immediately you'd be running around in a black space. Put a border around it, tell it where to fill the dimension to make a border, something in the middle, and you could run around in it. Doesn't have to be a maze, does it? Put what you like into the dimension, that's the whole point. 2000 here, this is printing the top left hand edge of the map. Oh, is that the fault I was looking for? Maybe, I don't know. It should be printing number 1. Because there was left hand scrolling fault. I wonder if that's it. And I've done a quick fix. I'm going to change these 2 values to see what happens. Where is it starting in the dimensions? Number 2. Well, I suppose the first one was a space. That would be correct, wouldn't it? It might be worth investigating. But there was a horrible fault with scrolling left. When the player moves over here, pulling everything over, and it wasn't filling in the second line properly for some reason. I will fix it properly. So we'll give the player the starting coordinates, top left, as you saw, and you can change that. I'm not sure how it affects the scrolling and where you should start the map coordinate from. I've put don't alter because I was having problems earlier on. I might be able to change these now. Print the player in position. And also, if we get to those locations in the dimension, then we're going to print that. at the bottom right of the screen. When you get to it, you'll be able to see it. Taking in keys now, and it just goes to a loop if you're not doing anything. But then we're going like a joystick control, probably a bit like an aeroplane joystick control to resolve the Z strings, the difference between the keys up and down, left and right, into variables C and D. Method we don't normally use, to do it other ways. And you can see standard screen string would be X and Y with a comma, but adding C on, adding D on, if it detects that it's a wall block, and then go back and do your keys, you're not going anywhere if you've encountered one of them. Okay, that's to leave your trail, I think, or blank off the space behind you. Blank the player in it, because it did say up there about leaving a trail behind you, so that's possibly it. So it's putting a blank into the dimension there as well, isn't it? Those coordinates. So if you do want to change the player location, you must have to change P and Q as well. Otherwise it'll screw up. See? And now we're changing X and Y coordinates properly based on what we put in with the keys. Resolving X and Y. And now we're going for the scrollers. Okay. So the first one is a horizontal, isn't it? It's not using the standard spectrum way of YX, it's going XY. So it's X and Y. It's been bending my head because I was so used to using the Sinclair way. We're doing the mathematical way. So horizontal, vertical. So if the player's going that way and we've hit line 0, then we'll be off to do that scroll to the right. If we hit the other side of the screen, then we'll shove the map that way and print a new bit. If we're going up, is it? Yes, we're going up, then the screen comes down to meet you. And the same if you're going down, the map's coming up to meet you. Print the player afterwards. After you've done all the scrolls and the coordinate change. There's different ways of laying it out. This is literally a copy from the book, by the way. If your screen coordinates and your dimension coordinates add up, all equal the ands, I'll give you a win. And then we'll go to a stop statement, whatever. You go menu, you took so many moves if you're recording it, time, blah de blah. You were here all sodding week, you got out eventually. Go back. The keys, isn't it? That's your main loop going on there now. We're inside the map. This is where you can add your nasties in and things like that. And so here we are with the calls to shift the attribute file first. Shift the colors first, then the bitmap. Alter player and dimension coordinates. And we're printing down left hand side. Okay. And I've added that in here at the end. The Q is the problem because it didn't have that, it just had the first expression. Print line 0 down the side. Now I've added on print line 1 down the side as well. Queued it. Now this is for the shift attributes and display file when the player goes that way. Okay, so it's just going to print at the 31st column and add a bit on. Or was it the other way? You know what I mean. I'm tired. Sorry if I got it the wrong way around. I've got a bit of dyslexia, you know, as well. So this will be up. And it doesn't have to have a for next loop because you've just shifted one way or the other and you've left a space top or bottom. So in this case, the blank needs to be filled at the top of the screen. 0, 0 up here. And obviously you know what's going to happen for this next one. Oh yes, because it's doing the whole of the display file, thanks to the sodding way it's laid out, you start seeing map being drawn in the bottom 2 lines in the wrong colour. So I've blanked them out. After the attribute file was shifted. So the bitmaps are moving into a blacked off area. More player and dimension coordinate, and then bottom of the screen. Printing a line from the dimension again. And then there's all the data chunks. That's Tim Hartnell's original code. I think I might have got a number wrong in it. Hence that left-hand fault, or right-hand fault, whichever one you want to call it. Stupid fault that kept me awake all last night. This is the ATTR code I've put in, taken from 40 best machine code routines. One of them failed, which was attribute down. And our good friend Magic Paget here delivered up that bit of code, beauty, which that can be used like that. If that, because that one used to look like that and didn't work for some reason. When I applied attribute down, I never worked it out. I'm not a machine code guy at best. But the principle here could be applied to that and shorten that code, but no point because we're only really using, I'm starting at 60,000 and our last byte is at 60,311. It's only less than a third of a K in size. It's sod all to do all this little bit of magic. I'm quite happy to leave it as it is, how I've built this, a little block like that. There's no size at all. And when I design and build my games, I put all my code and graphics and character sets from 60,000 on anyway to the end of memory. So it's only a third of a K less. That's a little memory peeker. So every time I've put that was the last data block I put in, which was Alan's attribute. And just, even though I double checked the line when I typed it in against his text, ran the poke looper and double check that it did actually go in. And this will give me a readout of the memory locations. And I read them off just to double check we've got an OK in one and you don't really want to be going back. This poke here changes you to the custom set, and that one reverts you back to the Spectrum standard, of which we're in now. So I do this all the time. When I'm working on the program, I keep it in the easy to read view, because my custom set has things in the lower character set. It scrambles everything. No, I can't say. There we are. Should have got the Specsavers. There we are. So you're going to probably see some screen faulting here because it's going even faster because I turned fuse up to 150. 100. Normal speed now. You've got to be careful choosing your background colours and the like. I went for all black to avoid that happening. It's seemingly unavoidable because the display move the attribute file first, then the bits that were in. Okay, so that's a coloured bitmap, attribute file over the top of a bitmap, isn't it? And the scrollers are going to pull the colour over first, leaving that black. It's got no colour. Then the bitmap is going to be pulled over. And then essentially there's nothing in the display or the attribute file really to display. It's just gone blank. And then of course I printed it, the new line in. We'll see that happen. In fact, let's slow fuse down to about, what can we say? Let's go for 68. Play it safe. Can we get that any slower before it crashes? Fuse a spectrum at 50% speed. That's about average for a basic game, isn't it? Right, so there. You can see the process, how it prints in. And we'll go back. I should have switched the speed back up for this, but even at half speed it's playable. Alright, here we go. 2 lines being drawn, I do believe. I'm just going to do this. Well, we know what's supposed to happen. I wonder if it's picking up the display file at the wrong place or whatever. Something's not quite right. Or was it told to move over one too many? God knows. I'm not complaining because it's doing what it's supposed to. Just go back to normal speed. Okay, so if we go list no and yes, if we go paper 0 now and go to 2000 to restart. I've done it again because I'm watching did it on the keyboard. How do we get over there again? Now that we've changed the palette, the background, and we saw before when we had a white background that black lines are produced when the display file moves. That doesn't happen. Let's just get it over a couple of more blockies and go back. We are at normal running speed, 100%, and here we go. There. So it's acceptable, but there is a better way of doing that, and I will root the fault out because it doesn't do it on the other 3 directions that you have to print 2 blocks, does it? So there's something up there. But you know, this thing's working, so I ain't complaining. Right, that's it, Worm fans. I'll catch you in a bit. Success on the big map.